Hey, what's going on, Alpha 9 fans? It's your boy MusiqNerd, and if you've been living under a rock or do not follow that type of thing, the AP poll has come out recently. So did the coaches poll for the preseason for this little thing that we call college football. And Miami is number 7. And while that is his highest preseason ranking in about 20 years, it's still way too low. And I'm going to explain why. Hey, what's going on, Alpha 99 fans? It's your boy MusiqNerd, and this is a mini podcast with your boy MusiqNerd. Let's get to it. What's up, Off 199 fans? It's your boy MusiqNerd, and I am here with a minute with MusiqNerd, talking about the AP poll and my reaction to it. All right, so let me go from the top. Number 1 is Ohio State. Number 2, Oregon. Number 3, UGA, Georgia. Number 4, Notre Dame. Oh, I'm sorry, Notre Dame. 5, UT, University of Texas. 6, IU, the defending national champion, Indiana University. Number 7, UM, defending national champions runner-up, University of Miami. 8, Texas A&M. 9, Ole Miss, and rounding out the top 10 is Oklahoma. So, if you're smart, and if you've been reading this, you look at the teams that are ahead of Miami, and you start to notice one thing. One way or the other, Miami played a team that either played them or actually played them and beat them. Number 1, Miami beat last year. Number 4, Miami beat last year. Number 5, Miami beat a team that beat them last year. Number 2, now Oregon, Miami lost a team. Miami lost a team that beat them twice, but then again lost a lot better than either 2 times that Oregon played Indiana. So you can say Indiana deserves to be ahead of Miami, and I absolutely agree with that. But they are replacing their Heisman winning quarterback and their leading receiver, and their leading touchdown getter from last year as well. Both of them. And replacing their running back room a little bit. So you start talking about, oh well, Miami lost a lot of production off the defensive line, and then they lost Francis Malianoa as well, and then they lost 2 of their top 3 receivers. I'm like, okay, Ohio State lost their second leading receiver. Ohio State lost a lot of production off the defense, but Ohio State is always number 1 and number 2. So there's that. You look at Oregon. Oregon, yeah, is bringing back a lot of production and everything like that. Oregon lost by over 35 points in the semifinal to the team that eventually won. So how are they 4 spots? How are they 4 spots ahead of that team? If that's your argument, and well, anyways, UGA, they lost their leading receiver as well, and it just seems like they're just going to be destined to be in that spot because SEC and Georgia, and they are probably the best team in SEC. But as we talked about in the podcast earlier this week, in our opinion, knowing the SEC is better than the main team that we're talking about. Notre Dame, don't even get me started on them. They lost their two best running backs, first round running backs at that. Lost their best receiver last year, and is relying on a sophomore quarterback that threw for less than 3,000 yards this season, and then not to mention the production they lost off the defense last year. So why are they ranked number 4 when Miami beat them head to head and is pretty much bringing us back? Well, we'll get into what Miami's bringing back in a moment. UT, I guess with the talent level and what they're bringing back, you can say they've only added. They didn't really lose too much in those terms. They lost a little bit, but adding Cam Coleman, a very talented receiver to that offense, should help them out a lot. And their running game was solid last year. It should only be better with what they also gained. So I guess I can understand UT being at 5. What I don't understand is how they're ahead of IU. But unless this is the argument that you're using, IU lost a Heisman winning quarterback. They lost their top 2 receivers, which I can understand. So maybe that's why you put the defending national championships at 6. Okay, so let's look at what has lost. Lost Ruben Bay, Akeem Messidor, 2 first-round defensive ends. So they lost about 25 sacks and over almost 100 pressures on defensive line. Now, that is a lot. I get that. I really do. But also look at what they're bringing back. They are bringing back the other 6 first players who came off the bench for that defensive line. And that defensive line is deep. It went 8 deep for a reason. And they're all coming back. And they added a 10-sack person from Missouri from the SEC to that. So, in the reality, okay, then you talk about Keontae Scott and Jacoby Thomas. Yes, you're losing probably your 2 most dynamic or award-winning defensive back room, but then you look at what you're bringing back. two freshman All-Americans in Bryce Fitzgerald and OJ Frederick. Ethan O'Connell had a much better season than what the national championship thing will look like. You're going to have a healthy Damari Brown. You add Omar Thornton, a All-ACC honorable mention level safety from Boston College, who's probably going to play the nickel position. It looks suited for it. And then Zachary Poser, who was also an All-ACC caliber player. Then you also excuse me, and then you play Xavier Lucas, and now Xavier Lucas would play the entire national championship game. We probably were talking about Miami being the defending national champions instead of the defending national runner-ups. So when it comes down to it, why is Miami ranked so low? Is it the quarterback? Oh, we lost Carson Beck. Well, we replaced him with the leading quarterback in the ACC last year, Darian Mensah. And not just the ACC, he threw for the most touchdowns in Power 4 last year. Threw for the second most yards in Power 4 throughout 13 games. And that's with playing about 3 less games than a lot of other people who qualified for it. So, are you talking about the receiver room, losing C.J. Daniels and Keelan Marion? I mean, most times you could say that, but Miami lost its 6 top pass catchers last year and had just as dynamic of a wide receiver room. Well, let's be real. It wasn't as dynamic, but Malachi Tony was just as dynamic as anyone who's ever there. He's coming back, along with the second leading receiver at ACC, who came to the school, Cooper Barcade. So that's probably an upgrade over C.J. Daniels, with all due respect to C.J. Daniels. And then you have Vandrevius Jacobs and Joshua Moore, who comes back from last year. Vandrevius Jacobs was the number 1 receiver on South Carolina last year. I mean, as far as yards go and everything. So you're bringing another 500-yard caliber receiver back onto this team. Joshua Moore stepped up as probably going to be one of those starters. It's going to be him. Now, if you knew Cam Vaughn was going to get dismissed from this team on Monday, then I guess that makes sense that maybe you could say that. But even then, it's like, not really. But even if you look at that, he was the number 1 receiver on the Power 4 team last year. So what does it all boil down to? And there's going to be another video that I will have that'll probably talk about what I'm about to say here. But it seems like it's hate. It seems like those old biases that always creep up when it comes to Miami. I'm going, now, to be fair, because of the last 25 years, you have to give some credence to it as a UM fan if you're being real. You know, there have been times before when Miami has peeked its head out to national relevancy and then been beaten back before. I actually have a video going over that times when we all said the DU was quote-unquote back, and we were wrong. Like I said, I think these times are different. Like I said, I have a video thanking God for Mario Cristobal, and he showed me again this week why we should thank God for him. There is a standard that is being put at UM that I don't think has been put there in years past when these terms of relevancy have poked its head. And I think that Miami is doing what it can to stay relevant. I think dismissing a player of Cam Vaughn's talent shows that Miami is not afraid to put talent over integrity and things like that. Now, I don't know what happened with Cam Vaughn. Austin Ajak will have a video probably later on this week explaining a little bit what he knows of what he thinks happened. I know there are people like Grant Reacts and Coach Coop and Dr. Classy. Kane, shout out to all of them. They're doing great stuff. Hopefully y'all can keep up and everything like that. They're doing great things. Saying that no one really knows what happened because Mario keeps close to the vest, and that's probably a good thing. That means things are being kept tight. The Rick administration, the Diaz administration, we all knew what happened and everything. That wasn't a good thing. Keeping things tight around a program, keeping it right, that means that you're dealing with everything internally, and that means the players are being held accountable in your eyes, not the media's, not ours. And as much as access is going to what have to these teams, it doesn't mean they're good. So, all that being said, as I talked about, this is a reaction to the AP poll. It doesn't matter that Miami is 7th, even though it's their highest ranking, and even though I think it's too low. The reality is when games start, Miami is going to show the type of team that it really is. When it comes down to business, Miami will show on the field that it's probably better than the number 7 team in the nation. And then the other teams that are in the top 10 will either show if they deserve their ranking or not. That's your boy, Off 199th. That's your boy, MusiqNerd, signing off for Off 199. Thank you so much for listening. We will be having other videos up. Please like, subscribe, watch the other videos. My dear brother Jay put out an all 22 film review of the SMU defense, SMU defensive performance. Please check it out. I'll link that video to this one today. Appreciate you guys. Like I said, we'll have another video out this week talking about something else when it comes to Miami. As I said, it's all about you. Off 199th. out.